Hello, my name is Jada Abels, and I will be presenting the case. The case that we decided on is called End-of-Life Care in the Long-Term Cancer Survivor. So the case is as presented. A 53-year-old African-American man who had been diagnosed with a rare and aggressive type of cancer more than 25 years ago was recently admitted to the hospital for severe hypoglycemia and unresponsive to stimulation. This was his first admission to this particular hospital, and most recently he had been under hospice services in his community. At the time of his initial diagnosis of cancer, the treatment included a craniectomy for a brain metastasis, as well as multiple chemotherapeutic regimens, including experimental therapies that were attempted with temporary respites of tumor growth. So the tumor stopped growing for short amounts of time. He returned to his original community after learning that no further curative treatment was available. Despite the aggressive nature of the underlying malignancy, the patient did not receive a medical follow-up and had minimal complications for many years. At the time of presentation with hypoglycemia, the workup documented a large metastatic tumor in the liver. He also had extensive metastatic disease in the liver, in the lungs, kidneys, and the pancreas. In addition, the patient had a visible tumor throughout much of his subcutaneous tissue. The patient was convalescent for short intervals, but was unwilling to engage in medical decision-making without the presence of his family. He expressed no religious preference at this time. After correcting the hypoglycemia, he was confused, unresponsive, and belligerent with those that were taking care of him. After a week of hospitalization, he was no longer communicating. So despite his previous hospice care, the physicians were surprised that family members wanted medical treatment besides palliative care, which is comfort care, end-of-life care. The patient had a tumor on his upper right arm that was not causing pain or any circulatory issues at all, and the family was insisting that it be surgically removed, despite the physician's opinion that this course of action would be invasive. The patient was not married, but he did have a common law partner. Common law is when you live with somebody, even though you're not married, but if you've been with them for a certain amount of years, they consider you married by this common law. However, he had been estranged from his female partner for the past 15 years. The patient had a son living in the same community, and the relationship was described as a good one. The medical team felt like the son was the most likely person that would be able to make decisions for the patient. But he did not have any durable power of attorney, and there was no healthcare agent, and there was no living will in place. The son did note that he and his father had a detailed conversation regarding his upcoming death, and the father had repeatedly asked that he stated that he wanted to die at home. His common law partner and relatives were refusing to give up. They saw the fact that the patient's glucose level had risen as him fighting to live, but in reality, that was not the case. An ethics consultation was requested, and the ethics consultation sympathized with the son and the healthcare team regarding the appropriateness of comfort care without resuscitation effort. A temporary agreement to palliate without the DNR. A DNR is a do not resuscitate. Over the next week, the patient accumulated a large amount of abdominal fluid and developed increasing difficulty with breathing. However, he seemed comfortable with the morphine, so he was okay, he was relaxed. But a few days later, the patient developed signs of pneumonia with fever. The son asked for another family conference with the medical team, and at the meeting, a consensus was reached that regarding the comfort care and the DNR was put in place. The patient did expire 2 days later. So this is the explanation of the case. Thank you.